Hey everybody, got the CiC Qualifiers coming at you once again. We are now in the round of 8, and this time we have the Pirates taking on Bad Monkey Gaming in Game 1 of a 3-game series. Obviously, previous matches in previous rounds were all best of 1s, and in the round of 8 they are best of 3. So no matter who wins this game, and I think there is a favorite, we will be going to a Game 2 in this series at the very least, and possibly a Game 3 as well. With that said, we've got bands coming out here. Kraken and Puppet Master getting eliminated by the Pirates right off the bat, removing the very versatile and powerful Kraken, as well as one of the stronger carries in the game, one of the stronger laners in the game in Puppet Master, so sensible bans there. Hanskin taking out Kronos and Rhapsody, as he eliminates the popular Suicide option and arguably the best support in the game to prevent the First Pick Legion team from being able to grab either one of those. And of course, upon elimination of the best support in the game, in my opinion, he takes the second best support in the game, in many people's opinion, although not so much mine, in Torture. So that first pick Torture by the BMG squad will give them a very strong zoner, a very strong laning support, and just a very powerful hero in general. Meanwhile, Legion side have followed up their first pick of Bubbles with Drunken Master, so going extremely versatile here in this first match. Apparently Swindlemelons is connecting. I guess he might have casted this too. I don't know. You should probably find out, but because it's very possible that me doing this is entirely pointless because he's already done it. I don't know. Who cares? Good for him though. And anyway, so Legion side so far are a bit opaque with their decisions, have not given away too much, as both of those heroes could lane in all 3 of those lanes. I do suspect we'll see the Bubble Suicide, just because that seems to be his most common role, but could certainly see a Drunken Master Suicide, Bubbles Initiator, etc., etc. So Legion side missing at least one support at this point, and very possibly a carry or a mid or a Suicide, you never know. Possibly a jungler as well, and it's always a sign of a good draft when you don't really know what's going on in the first bit. So Hellborn side going to follow up their Torture with a Tempest pick, as both sides have used a bit of extra time. So foregoing the dual support route in favor of the jungle. No doubt that Tempest will be in Hanskin's hands. And Torture will be played by Seal Kid. So looking for heroes for Fuzi Limp and Jonas McFan, a Suicide, a mid, and a carry. So obviously Hellborn a little bit less obvious in terms of what their, or a little more obvious, excuse me, in terms of what their decisions have been so far and what they're going to be laned as and whose hands they're going to be in. Torture could still technically be a carry, and we've seen Fuzi run that support or the carry tort before. I would not put that out of the question, but it would be a little surprising in my opinion to see that, as it is non-typical. So Legion side perhaps looking for something to counter that Tempest. Andros on the board. CiC will instead be the pick. It's a fine pick, I suppose. I'm not a huge fan of CiC just because she is such a terrible laner. If you can get her out of the laning phase, she does obviously become very powerful and probably, honestly, very, very possibly the most powerful support in the game, just because that ultimate is so damn good. But a lot of games where CiC is played are lost in the laning phase just because she is so weak as a laner. Her harass damage isn't that great. Her attack animation is pretty terrible in my opinion. Her immobilize is not easy to land, and it's not even a stun, it's just immobilize, and the rest of her abilities just don't do too much. She does have a nice escape mechanism in the Deceive, but obviously you're not only looking for, oh god, I can live. It's, I want to be able to get aggressive, I want to be able to, help my lane partner get away from ganks and get away from kills, and CiC doesn't do too much of that. So we'll see what happens with that hero. I would not be surprised to see her lane with Drunken Master, especially if they go in that middle or bottom lane. But still some options left for the Legion side. They could still go jungler, and I think I'd like that at this point. Parasite's available, Ophelia's available, and then there are the non-traditional junglers like Warbeast, Solstice, Legionnaire, even, well, Cthulhu's actually not available to be picked, but and in a regular game, I guess you could see that. Anyway, Gauntlet will be the pick here. Gonna go to Limp almost certainly. It's a little surprising actually, because Limp, not typically a huge fan of the initiation hook type heroes. Doesn't play them all that often, as you'll notice. BMG, since dropping Super KG and picking up a Limp, they haven't really been picking Devourer too much. They haven't been picking Gauntlet too much because Limp's a little bit less comfortable with those hook heroes, and I think from what I've seen, that's warranted. He's just not quite as good on them. I think he prefers melee strength stunners. So Magnus, Pebbles, Kraken, that sort of hero is really, really powerful in his hands. And Gauntlet perhaps less so, but again, it's they're going up against a lesser-known team, and a team of the Pirates that has made it to the round of 8, and so they're not slackers by any means, but not exactly a bunch of players that you might recognize, and not really players that you would think, oh yeah, this is a team that has a huge chance of beating BMG. So we'll see what happens, but at this point, I think BMG can afford to be a little bit less picky about what they do select. And of course, this is also a best of 3, so if they do happen to lose this game, then they can go a little bit harder in game 2 and not be concerned about getting knocked out. Whereas in previous games, it's one and done, so you either win or you're out. Bans are done here. Bensington, Wretched Hag, and the Madman being eliminated by the Legion side, so targeting the Suicide lane, as well as removing a couple of decent short lane, or one decent short lane option, really 2, I guess, in both Hag and Madman. So, mostly targeting Jonas and Fuzi, as it is expected that they'll be looking for a suicide option and a carry here as their last 2 picks. Swiftblade actually being taken away from BMG, and that's a very popular hero for them, so that's also sort of a ban as well. Meanwhile, Hunskin's banning out Moon Queen, Parasite, and Legionnaire, so eliminating a couple of jungle options, no doubt, because he's already got a jungler, and the Legion could still be running one, as well as the Moon Queen, which would fit fairly well in the Legion lineup, especially on top of the Bubbles Kelp Field, strong ganker as well, likes the babysit and support, and CiC, and of course the CiC Moon Queen combination has been talked about quite a lot, although we haven't seen it very often, and we haven't really seen it be that effective, so I'm a little bit skeptical myself, but it's been advertised as super amazing, and Hanskin's like, yeah, you're not getting that. 4th pick Swiftblade here as Devourer on top of Gauntlet. So I think we're going to see the Gauntlet or Devourer in the Suicide Roll in Jonas' fans' hands. A little interesting that the double hook, but hey, shit could get crazy here. This is BMG is entitled to go a little bit weird with their picks, and it looks like they're gonna do so. So we'll see how Suicide Devourer works out, I think, this game. We could also see a dual lane bot, so it's possible we'll see something like a Gauntlet Torture in the long lane with Devourer solo mid, which would be a little interesting, but no doubt powerful. Solstice will be the last pick up for the Legion side, and that's going to be their jungler. So they are choosing to go the jungle route instead of the dual support, and I like that decision. Solstice, perhaps not the hero I would have gone with, maybe Ophelia. It's possible they don't have an Ophelia player, so obviously if you don't have an Ophelia player, it's better not to pick that hero just because she's good. You need to be able to play it. And in that regard, I guess I can see why you'd go for Solstice Tempest already taken and Parasite being banned. Dr. Poster will be the last pick for the Hellborn side. That's going to be in Fuzi's hands, so Jonas going to pick up that Devourer. Gauntlet on by Inlimp's hands, Hanskin going to be playing Tempest, and Silke playing Torture, so no huge surprises there. Legion sides, lanes are also fairly predictable. We're going to see the Solstice in the jungle, probably Drunken Master mid, Bubbles Suicide, and CiC Swiftblade in the bottom lane. Hellborn are a little harder to pick up, probably almost certainly going to be Hanskin in the jungle, almost we never see anything other than that, but Fuzi likely solo in that top lane. I'm suspecting we'll see the mid Devourer and the bot Gauntlet Torture, although we could certainly just see a straight Suicide Devourer. Considering the Legion's makeup and their likely lanes, I would not think that the Suicide Devourer is going to be the best option, because he's basically going to get entirely boxed, or he should get entirely boxed out by that Swiftblade CiC if they play it correctly. Then again, there's always the distinct possibility of a serious outplay, considering BMG is BMG, and autoscript pause. But considering BMG is BMG, and the Pirates are no doubt a solid team, but not one that is really on the level of BMG, I think is suffice to say. It's very possible that Jonas Fan would be just fine in a true suicide roll. So we'll see what happens, but it does look like we're going to see the Gauntlet Torture at bottom. At the very least, Torture is headed bot. Could see a Gauntlet or a Torture Dev bot, which would be a little interesting. And I don't think I'd like it as much as the Torture Gauntlet, purely because Gauntlet's burst damage on top of Torture's chain reactions I think has a lot more kill potential. And with the way the lane is positioned, it's going to be harder to land Dev hooks because the creeps will be in the way, and Gauntlet obviously does not have that problem. So it looks like they'll be landing limp middle in the solo roll. Well, it's hard to tell where Suicud's going to go right now because he's sort of straddling that those two lanes. The rest of the lanes are obviously, you know, quite simple. Tempest in the woods, and Dr. Repulsor in the solo top. Both those heroes should be having just a fine time as things progress. CiC dropping a word of sight there. We'll be able to spot the rune, and I might be able to see Sealkid on the Torture hanging out there. He will ward himself with a ward granting similar vision, and will in fact be Sealkid in the bottom lane. So it's going to be Josephine and Sealkid bot looking to do some stuff against the dual lane of CiC and Swiftblade. No surprise there. With Solstice in the woods, again, not a huge shock. And Drunken Master in the middle with Bubbles in the Suicide lane. So both teams going with largely predictable lanes. The only question was really, was it going to be Devourer or Gauntlet in this bottom lane? It is going to be Devourer, and like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Immobilize goes down right off the bat, so CiC is doing what she can to box out this dev, thinking that it's going to be a solo Devourer down here, not really knowing where Sealkid on the Torturer is, as he has not shown himself quite yet. And he will in fact go over here and ward up the pull, so once they kill this, there's not going to be anything left. Interesting that Solstice is choosing to start there as opposed to in the easy camp. Usually you see a Solstice going, yeah, let's go for that easy camp as priority, and I think that's probably the correct move. So, bit of a questionable decision coming off the bat, and we'll see how it works out for them. Middle lane Gauntlet versus Drunken Master. This can really go either way. Gauntlet has the burst damage to kill DM. DM has the escape mechanisms that are really nice, and the counter damage with the stagger and the lunge to be able to kill Gauntlet. So, who does not have a substantially impressive escape mechanism? I expect Limp to win because it's Limp, and laning against Limp is extremely horrible, but you could certainly see a Drunken Master victory in this bottom lane. In the meantime, Devour getting jumped with the Blade Frenzy, and Solstice coming in. A couple more auto attacks, and the health buckets drop, not going to be enough, and Jump Spin will fall, so the pseudo tri-lane down here will pay off for the Legion side with the Bloodlust, and not a bad kill at all, grabbing Devourer first off the bat. Sealkid will be able to get some support, in fact, actually goes to the rune primarily, and it will spawn top in the form of illusions. Hamster coming out here with a bottle for Limp, and he's likely going to chug a few of those, head top, and grab those illusions. Perhaps even gank this Bubbles, who is at half health compared to the half health and half mana of Dr. Repulsor. Torturer, meanwhile, hanging out in the woods. A little dangerous here. Impalement goes down there, plus with Drunken Master, and Sealkid's going to fall here, so... Actually, no, Chain Reactions hit. Try and get the nice neutral kill. Oh, that was pretty lucky. So, a bit of a misplay there, as he finds himself right next to both Solstice and Drunken Master. You can see what he was trying to do. He was looking to pick off that Solstice in the woods. And if Drunken hadn't been there, that very well could have happened. But obviously getting turned around on and managing to deny himself to the neutrals. Well played there, no doubt. Middle lane illusions get popped, and Drunken Master taking a fair bit of damage from them. He's also putting quite a lot of damage out. And Sealkid and Torture is going to roam bot, or mid actually. Won't be able to get too much here, and this Limp misses the hook as well as the Infernal Instability. But Limp's not really needing the help here at 310 gold per minute compared to 260 from Drunken Master, so Sealkid's rotation I feel like not particularly necessary. They may just feel like, oh, since Devourer has lane control in the bottom lane, I'm not needed bot, so I might as well just help secure the lane victory here in middle, perhaps even grab a kill. Immobilize there, not gonna hit. What's that even called? Entrapment. It's a stupid ability, I hate it. It is really difficult to land. Like, obscenely difficult. Up top, meanwhile, we've got Huntskin. He's going to be level 6 soon, and so is Dr. Repulsor, so we might see a jump pretty soon onto this Bubbles, and you can see Fuzi already starting to harass him down a little bit. Keltfield is going to be available from Bubbles, on the other hand, but I don't think that's going to be enough, because I think between the Tempest Ultimate and Fuzi's ability to jump and drop the opposite charges once he hits level 6, we could very, very likely see a kill onto this Bubbles once both Huntskin and Fuzi are level 6. Bubbles getting real aggressive here, and it's not going to work out for him very much. the side here. Dev looking for something, but both Solstice and Drunken Master will be just fine. I'm just waiting for that level 6, man. Hanskin has hit it, so he does have access to his ultimate. Not enough mana for it, but the ability is available. Bubbles actually going to get rummed up by Devourer, who's all the way over here. Gonna get spotted by the creep wave though. Hook not gonna hit. And Dev not really gonna be in too much trouble as Drunken Master won't be able to get there in time. Grabs a mana pot, and he's gonna get spotted out here by Bubbles. Mana pot will immediately be cancelled. Anyway, Fuzi up here has grabbed level 6, and Bubbles not quite there yet, so they're gonna be looking for a kill on this Bubbles, I think, really soon. Especially as Tempest is coming in from the side. Perhaps even looking to push the top tower. Solstice taking some damage from neutrals, so he's doing pretty well here in the stacks. Off the side, Seal Kid could be in some trouble. Takes the entrapment there. Sufficient follow-up, not so much. Chain reactions hit both the real CiC and the fake. Double damage, immediately going to kill the illusion there. So, nothing too successful here on the top in terms of either the push or the ability to gank Bubbles. Drunken Master is up here, but it's going to get spotted out by a Ward of Sight right there. So, Fuzi obviously knows exactly what's going on in that regard. Switchblade has pretty much had free farm down here since Jonas fans basically vacated that lane. And he will be up top here looking for a gank once again. There goes the jump onto Bubbles. See the opposite charges here and looking for the hook, but the creep wave coming in. Land the hook. Yep, there it is. Kill field goes down into 2, but it's not going to be enough. As, they do clean up onto Bubbles, so that was a gank that was several minutes in the making, really. Han's going to show up here, and this is also going to turn into a top power push. I would not be surprised at all to see this tower killed. And Limpida, meanwhile, falls in mid, actually. As he takes the Solstice ultimate, misses the hook going back, and with no escape mechanism, Stragger will finish him off. Top lane push continues as Hanskin's elementals split, and they're going to start doing some pretty serious damage here. We're going to see a port coming in. Yeah, ultimate. I don't understand why that port was not cancelled, because Tempest ultimate was available, so
destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Bit of an odd decision. They're going to try to look to save the tower here, but that's not going to happen. I don't think they're going to get out of this either. And Swiftblade comes in. So they do manage to pick off the bot tower in favor of Legion, which is really nice, but a bit of a misplay there as Bubbles did not cancel his teleport, just TP'd right in front of them. Said, hey Tempest, drop your ultimate on me, get a free kill. He even started ultimating before the port was finished, so he could have had, if he canceled the TP, it wouldn't have been a death and it would have been wasted Tempest ultimate on top of that. So, things are actually relatively even here despite that. 2-2 hero kill lead. Slight research advantage for BMG. As nobody's farming particularly well. Hanskin at 380 GPM. Actually being dwarfed pretty considerably by the Swiftblade, who's farming really well. Currently sitting on 1900 gold. Mid lane, meanwhile, there's 4 heroes to the leading side. They're looking for something. Word of Rev over here might have spotted somebody. Another Word of Sight definitely spots the Bubbles. I think spotted the Solstice as well, who has since retreated into the jungle. So BMG going to play it relatively cautiously in this middle lane. Bot lane, meanwhile, Devour is down here. Solstice ultimate is going to hit. Yes, it will. Plus the jump. He's going to try to teleport out, but is it going to be enough? Nope. Nice Swift Slash is coming in there as Pizzazz finishes off the kill on the Jonas fan. That port would have worked if it wasn't for Swifty, I think. Because he pretty nearly got it off, even with the Swift Slashes going down. Middle lane, group up once again to the Legion side, dropping a word of Rev there, which actually catches this one, and it should catch both words of Rev, I believe. But Drunken Master going to be spotted out here. Nice hook back before he can jump onto Torture. Pops the untouchable though, and Torture's going to fall right off the bat. We'll see if they can turn into something. Boozy's going to try to clean up here, does get to Drunken Master, and they're also going to pick off Bubbles here, so ends up being a 2-for-1. Losing only Seal Kid. Now they're going to try to jump CiC. We'll see if Limp can land a hook here. Does not look like it. He appears to have gotten juked. So, good response there from BMG. Seal Kid dying, but obviously turning that into 2 hero kills and very likely a tower kill as well here. Trapment goes on to Torch Tempest, but not the biggest of deals. Looks like they're going to continue pushing down here as Tempest Elementals are up for a couple more seconds. And they're feeling pretty confident about their ability to take a team fight. Tempest Void is up, as is pretty much everything except for Gauntlet Blast. So Kid dropping a ward over the side. Hook not going to hit. The Legion side realizing, yeah, we need to defend this tower, and doing so. Han's going to make some stacks here in the woods. Hook, meanwhile, on the back will get a pretty easy kill on the Drunken Master as he was going for the double damage rune, but Josephine managed to catch him. Blade Frenzy goes down here as well. Limp is out of mana, so he won't be able to do too much. He's bottling up. Hook actually will hit there. CiC can try to help out. Entrapment not going to go down, and the Tempest Ultimate's going to lock down Swiftblade here, so that's going to be a nice easy kill. Josephine stealing it with the hook, actually. And he will be stolen there by CiC, but it's not going to turn into anything, so a bit of a wasted ultimate. As CiC will sort of just run around with that. Shell Surf gets used there. Limp does have a portal key, so could have jumped onto Bubbles there, but choosing not to. So a few nice hero kills there for BMG as they pick up both Swiftblade and Drunken Master, up their lead to a 6-4 hero kill advantage and 4.5k golden experience. Over here, Swiftblade gonna run right into Dr. Repulsor, and Dr. Repulsor says, yeah, I don't really want any part of this engagement, I don't have enough support. But Hellborn continuing to keep up the aggression here as they're just basically living in the Legion woods. And not a huge surprise, as that is frequently BMG's MO, is let's fight. CiC over here, that is the real one, but they're going to hit the fake with the hook. No, that was the real one with the hook, sorry. Obviously, being invisible, making that a lot easier to evade. Word of Revelation was not in range. Bot tower might be the next focus, as Hanskin has turned his attention down here. But they're going to draw a pretty solid response here from the Legion side, looking for the entrapment. Will actually hit, and Tempest is going to be in some trouble. In fact, very possibly going to be dead. Torture looking to try to save him, but that's not going to happen. So, nice entrapment there from CiC. Manages to pick off the kill onto Hanskin. And give it to Swiftblade, who is down to 400 gold per minute thanks primarily to that death. But in the meantime, Kelpfield does catch Seal Kid, but he does manage to port away before further aggression shows up. And now a couple of the members of BMG are riding Switchblade's tails very closely, as opposed to before when he was about 50 GPM ahead. Off to the side here, Solstice might get caught by CiC. Hasted Gauntlet coming in from the side, and this is definitely going to be an engagement. Gauntlet Blast goes down to Solstice immediately, going to hook him right back into CiC, but chain reactions miss actually, so some miscommunication there. Pops the Elder Parasite, trying to get away with the movement speed. Might not be able to do so as this stun comes in from Drunken Master. They're actually going to turn this around. Solstice charging up the ultimate, does not hit anything. And in the meantime, Hook actually hits Gauntlet once again, who's still hasted, who's now being taken over as Devourer is going to get jumped on by CiC. We'll see if they can actually turn this into anything. Hook from CiC going to miss. Off to the side here, Gauntlet looking for the hook on a Swiftblade once again, not going to quite find it, but CiC, Tempest Ultimate goes on to 2, and that's going to kill off Drunken Master and possibly CiC as well. In the meantime, Bubba's getting caught by Devourer, does not land the hook, and she will actually die thanks to Fuzi grabbing him into the woods. CiC's still going to live, as will as Swiftblade. Solstice coming back, but sure, didn't actually die, but got extremely close to death. And now this is going to be a bot tower push by the Hellborn side. Should be able to get it fairly easily. Lift goes out, but that's just going to slow him down more than anything. So a good team fight there from BMG, and that's going to turn into a bot tower push.
Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
Got to give some props to the Pirates here, though. I mean, they're definitely doing pretty well in this game. They're absolutely behind. You know, they don't have as much late game as BMG does. They don't have quite as much team fight as BMG does, I think, just because of the Tempest Ultimate. And they may not even have as much gank potential or push. So I think BMG has a slightly maybe more powerful lineup. It's pretty hard to argue. Or pretty hard to choose. Tempest, meanwhile, going to get caught out over here by Drunken Master and CiC's. Chain reactions hit him, though, and he will be able to run away, I think, considering the how fast he is. Nope, Kelpfield's going to catch him, and Hansky's going to be in a lot of trouble. Solstice's going to follow this up with a stun, and CiC continuing to try to save him, but not the greatest of plans, really, because he could also get caught. No, they're not going to continue to pursue. Definitely a good idea, because the rest of BMG was collapsing. Looks like Bubbles is spotting out Devourer. Doesn't want to get hooked, obviously. But anyway, the Pirates are definitely hanging in here. You know, 5k gold, 4k experience. Not a bad deficit at all, especially for 18 minutes into this game. Swiftblade's farming fairly well, so is Solstice, and Devourer is doing Drunken Master's doing all right. Swiftblade has ceded the top overall farmer in the game to Dr. Repulsor. Off to the side here. Pastry going to be picked up by Bubbles, and Hook not going to hit on either side, actually. Both hooks missed. So, good rune theft by Bubbles there. Is being done in the meantime, as they are stacked at least once, twice. I think that was a triple stack. So BMG pushing a little bit ahead with that, but once again, Pirates are maintaining their position more or less in this game. They're hanging in there, and I'm not sure if that's enough. Between Solstice and Swiftblade, it might be. If they were to take this substantially late, they might be able to do something. Because Gauntlet and Devourer scale fairly well, but not that well. Tempest Ultimate is obviously always a problem, but they have a number of ways of stopping that. They have the Solstice Ultimate, they have the Kelp Field, and of course they can use CiC to counter with their own Tempest Ultimate. They can use CiC to counter with Dr. Repulsor. And the later this game goes, the more powerful that CiC Ultimate is going to become. As long as she manages to get it on the right person and effectively use those spells, of course. Conqueror looks like it might be the focus here, as the Hellborn side are sort of grouping up around this area. We have 4 heroes here. Word of Sight, though, will be countered. Tournament Rune is a regen, it'll spawn bot, so Conqueror is definitely going to be the focus. And Fuzi going to grab that regen, bottle it up real nice. He is going for the Hellflower, having picked up the Arcana. Devour going Shaman's Headdress, perhaps into a Barrier Idol. Gauntlet obviously picked up the Portal Key, and looks like he's working on a Shrunken Head at this point. Solstice going to spot them out here, so they definitely know the Conqueror is going on. The question is, can they do anything about it? Down to about a fifth of his life now, and looks like Gauntlet's sort of still working on that, but in the end decides to Portal Key out, so good spot there by the Legion side. Realized that the Hellborn were doing Conqueror, they weren't anywhere to be seen, and bringing the full force of their team. Meanwhile, Gauntlet Blast going to be here on to Solstice, going to get put right back in. Untouchable goes down by Duncan Master. We'll see if he can do anything. Solstice trying to get the hell out of there. That's not going to happen. Duncan Master dropping the Ghost Marchers. That's not going to be enough. Kelphiel goes on to 5 actually, but Bell's going to be hooked right back in, and he also drops. So ends up being a 3 for nothing, and that's going to be the death on Conqueror. As the Portal Key Gauntlet, just hard to deal with. So easy to get caught out. Meanwhile, over here, fake CiC actually will get jumped by Fuzi.
Conqueror has been
and that ends up being a nice Conqueror kill there. So Token of Life on Fuzi, not a huge surprise there. CiC is a fake here, of course. Drawing an Infernal Instability there from Gauntlet, but not the biggest of deals, of course. That is the real CiC. Trying to juke, and will successfully do so. Devour going to port out as he's feeling like he doesn't want to be here anymore. Going to defend top tower instead. And obviously a valuable decision there. Second port coming in here top. Perhaps going to try to look up to pick up the Swiftblade. Or perhaps the other way around. Swiftblade's going to run right into Torture here. Swift/, go down, and oof, painful. And then the port out, and Swiftblade will be totally fine. So a bit of unlucky play there from Seal Kid. Notable though that BMG continue to expand their lead. Gauntlet Blast there and hook back onto Devour or Drunken Master. Tempest Ultimate going down will be the kill on Drunken Master, as they would not be able to stop it. Meanwhile, Fuzi actually in the background going to jump in, drops the Hellflower, and maybe a kill on CiC. Solstice Ultimate only hitting Tempest in the background, not a huge deal because he's already ulted. Bubble's going to fall in the meantime. Solstice trying to finish off Tempest here, that's probably not going to happen. And Hanskin's looking to reinitiate here. Blade Frenzy goes down, in the meantime Solstice is going to fall. We'll see if Tempest can actually survive this, he cannot. Drunken Master coming back after the buyback. Will drop the lunge onto Gauntlet, but he's going to pay for this as Fuzi is just going mad. Limp a couple auto attacks here from death. Will actually get blocked a bit by Fuzi and dies there. Now it's a 1v1 with Dr. Pulsar taking on Swiftblade. Devour coming in from the side, and he's looking to land the hook. Swiftblade's really, really fast here with those Ghost Marchers, and that's going to be enough for him to get away. But obviously a strong fight coming in there from Legion's side. As they pick off 4, they lose 2, and they draw a buyback. So technically they picked up 5, I guess, as they killed the Drunken Master. He bought back, and they killed him again. Mid tower now going to be pretty heavily pressured. Devour from the background. Look, actually nice hook there. Hellflower goes down, but interrupted the ultimate by the Kelpfield. So CiC gets saved by her good buddy. Cliff going down to the tower here, looking for the deny. Fuzi does not want to give it to them, does not have to, but pays for that. Losing his token here. Probably not going to die again. Nice hook back there on the Solstice. CiC trying to get the Repulsor there, but will not be able to do so. Drops the Deceive. She's going to be able to get out, but there's a Dust of Revelation going on. One more auto attack, and that's going to be her death. We'll see if Solstice can get out of here. Probably not. Tries to turn back, but a Word of Rev goes down, and that's a pretty easy kill. So ends up being 2 kills once again in favor of BMG, as they have substantially expanded their lead all of a sudden. They have their entire team here looking ready to push the base. CiC and Solstice are dead for 20 plus seconds. And that's probably going to be a mid-tower kill. So things are looking good for the Pirates, and all of a sudden, BMG'd them. So this is looking like mid-racks.
A Legion barracks has been destroyed.
Hook back there by Gauntlet. Actually, Devour taking a whole bunch of damage. Hook Actually hit Fuzi, one more auto attack, and Hanskin will in fact die as he got a little bit too involved in there. Feeding Frenzy goes down onto Swiftblade. Takes chain reactions to CiC. And the rest of the Hellborn side are going to run away. They did get the racks, of course, but Drunken Master drops the Untouchable, and he's looking for a couple of kills here. CiC looking to die down neutral once again. Will not be able to do so. Fuzi, in the meantime, going to get picked off by Drunken Master, and Drunken will not be able to pick him off as Solstice flanks Limp, and ends up picking off 4 heroes on BMG's side. So really, really good fight back there. And in fact, Jonas fan might not be out of the woods either. Gets delivered his portal key right here and PKs away. So nicely done. They're going to counter this with a mid-tower push and should get it fairly easily. So generally a favorable engagement there from BMG as they took a tower, they took a racks, they took all sorts of hero kills, but Pirates pushing back once again and saying, you know, look, we're not going to lay down and take this. We're going to fight back, and when we have our abilities up and we can chase you down, we're pretty damn effective. So that's one tower. Actually, Bubble's going to get hooked over here by Jonas fan. We'll see if he can actually finish him off. He does so, and that's going to be the cue for Legion side to back off, so they don't even get the second tower down. In the meantime, over here, CiC will manage to port away. Drunken Master staggering his ass back to base. And will be just fine at this point. Fuzi picking up a Mighty Blade, so no doubt going for a shrunken head of his own. Obviously, dual portal keys are very effective. Shrunken head can be picked up by Tempest relatively soon on top of his Astrolabe. Legion side, Firebrand, and Abyssal's Call and Swiftblade, so very mid-game, early-game centric items in that regard. CiC doesn't have too much at all, neither does Bubbles, as they're not farming very well. Drunken Master going to jump over here onto Silkhead. He'll take a whole bunch of damage. Untouchable goes down, but that's not going to stop the chain reaction. Silkhead trying to live here, but that's probably not going to happen. A couple more auto attacks, and he will die. In the meantime, over here, they do actually pick off Solstice. Let's go watch that. Just 3 heroes collapsing on top of him. Not too much going to happen. It's Fuzi jumping in from the side. And Silkhead going to fall here off to the side. Actually, Blade Frenzy goes down, but it's not going to be able to stop Devour. Ultimate Tempest ultimate onto 3. CiC's going to steal this, but that's not going to be enough. She's counting with her own ultimate. They do manage to pick off Bubbles, but they're going to turn this and see if CiC can live. Nope, she cannot, but Limp in the meantime pays for it. On the other hand, Swiftblade's also going to down. Solstice buying back here, trying to counter this. Hook mixes from Devour. Get another buyback here, this time on Swiftblade. He's going to pour it in, see what he can do. Fuzi is out of mana. We'll see if they can actually run away from this. Blade Frenzy goes down, and Fuzi trying desperately to live here, but Swiftblade's a little too fast, I think. Hook there onto Fuzi, and the jukes, man. Dav gonna port away, he should be just fine. So that was a pretty beautiful hook there from Jonas. Will manages to save Fuzi and really get them out of a team fight that they could have lost pretty substantially. A couple of buybacks used, obviously, for the Legion side. Not the greatest in the world, but they managed to defend their base. They don't lose any other buildings. And they picked up a few kills in the meantime. Managing one on Silkhead, Limp, and Hanskin. Didn't really go well for them, but could have been a lot worse. Swiftblade continuing to farm really well here at 43 gold per minute. Of course, Fuzi's now at the 550 GPM mark. Swiftblade going to run right into both Torture and Devour. Drops the chain reactions and the Dev ult. We'll see if they can actually do anything about this. Blade Frenzy's back, and he looks like he's going to survive. No! Last out attack from Silkhead. Excellently played. Dust of Revelation goes down here. Bubbles immediately going to drop. Silkhead going to pay for that too, though. But CiC's going to fall. And Jonas' fan looking to run away here. Untouchable gets dropped, but it's not going to matter because they're not looking to reinitiate at this point. Unless they are. That's Solstice and Drunken Master here sitting behind the tower, and 2 portal key hook heroes. Hook not gonna hit. Ooh, that was almost a beautiful blind hook. Off to the side here, Hook does hit onto Solstice, and he's just completely screwed. Gauntlet trying to steal the kills. That's not going to be enough, though. As Josephine picks it up, as well as the kill onto Drunken Master, and they're calling GG's here. As their 20k gold and experience down, not a huge surprise. BMG managing to take game 1 here against the Pirates, who actually put up a pretty good game. So I'm pretty excited to see what they can do in Game 2 because this was not a walk for BMG by any means. They did not just do nothing. They drafted pretty seriously, and it still took them half an hour to win a game. And they were not, for a lot of this game, they were not in a huge lead. They weren't just toying with their opponents. This was definitely a match. So I like what I saw from the Pirates here. Good teamwork, good drafting, good decision making, and we'll see what they can do in Game 2.